is Blood Price and Bloodthirst.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that ends up working out for him. Maybe wants a little bit faster clear, so we can have
So
some more time on lane.
they need to get Sona out of there.
Sona on the run, and Quantic rolling straight up the field here. A lot of blue pings in the area, and they will avoid a fight here. They'll have a pincer maneuver if they want to do that, but Corki not in the area. Sona recalling, so Quantic will just have run of the blue side jungle here into the tri-brush. Quantic going to all recall in the area around tri-brush. Renekton will as well. AD carry support combo heading bottom lane. Renekton going to head back just for a quick second. He's going to come out bot side as well. Nope, turns it up at the last second there. Lane swaps, not going to happen. It's going to be standard 2v2 bot. It's going to be Kennen versus Renekton up top lane. We saw, who was it? Was it Apple? Who played Kennen up top against Renekton? Had a really, really good time of it. Putting on that damage at range. Obviously, Manaless champ going to be able to get those spells out as often as the energy's back up to do it. So Kennen just a great pick into the Renekton. We'll see if Apple can make it work here. And, will be a sort of nice counter argument to Jackie's Morgana as far as team fight annoyance goes.
Speaking of counter to Jackie's Morgana, Suno just taking half of his life in a single triple Q combo there with the broken wings. Jackie gonna have to use some potions on that one. No sustain for Suno though, aside from his Doran's Blade, and I believe he has some life steal. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, dangerous one
4%.
To try to go in with. He's gonna have that extra life steal, and he'll be doing some good damage output, which is something he's probably gonna have to fall back on. We'll see if that means Aatrox's gonna make a couple more trips out of the jungle. As you can see, the Tormented Soil there, it doesn't do a ton of damage, but it certainly makes standing around and auto-attacking one of those things that you just don't really want to do all that much. And Jackie going to make sure he plops it down in just the right spot. Suno going to be forced out. On the backside, Jackie back into good health. Suno down under half of his, and again, with auto-attacks, his only way back to good. That lack of regen could cost him at least here early a little bit. Aatrox's going to run into Jackie, swing it over towards a blue buff. And they'll have a nice little dance party for themselves. Not much going to come of it, though, as everybody else just doing their work. Probably the most exciting lane right now, mid lane. Aatrox's going to go over the wall, chase Elise out. Not sure if he managed to steal away that blue. Both spin a double buff, so...
No, he didn't.
Didn't get it.
He got there a little too late, and his smite was on cooldown because he used it on red. He got very low in the jungle.
LocoDoco down bottom, going to be up 5 CS here as the game gets rolling out. Kennen with a very nice 11 CS lead here through only 3.5 minutes, and it's just one of those things. Again, Kennen able to play things at range, puts down great damage. So Hanser going to have to play it back, wait for the minions to come to him, and Apple just not obliging.
Yeah, and they went for the 2v2 lane here, so LocoDoco is going to have a little bit of a range advantage here over LOD for much of the early game.
Suno caught up in a binding Tormented Soil combo. He's going to back it away again. Does have a Wraith camp up there, but at this point in the game would probably do more harm than good to swing over to that. Just back it up, wait for the lane to push his way. But again, Jackie not wanting to send anything over. Trying to keep lane in the middle, keep that Suno zoned out, and make sure that it's as slow a start as humanly possible. But still, Suno doing a great job keeping pace on the CS numbers.
Yeah, and Apple's doing a great job of being ahead of Hanser right here. And Renekton is kind of, he has that early game where he can wave clear and sustain simultaneously with Call of the Meek, and he has one of the best top lane. Ooh, Jackie gonna get knocked
over the wall there onto Jackie. Jackie gonna get the spell shield down, but the auto attacks hurt too much. Prime gonna flash forward, get in, grab one, doesn't get sent into the passive. Evantime gonna chase him down, leave Suno to his own devices in mid lane. Slow gonna get there. Stun lands, but not before Prime gets the hop out and gets away clean. Passive intact, very, very nicely played by Quantic for a first blood grab to put them up 1,100 gold. LOD in trouble now as the stun going to come in. Apexi rolls forward, be as threatening as possible, gets the exhaust down. A little help from Apexi on the heel as LOD gets away with the Valkyrie, but Quantic going to come out on top of that one. LocoDoco in just slightly better shape as they couldn't answer back all the damage he was able to put out. Very, very nicely done again by Quantic. Going to get LolPro back, but then the lane going to push in, so they'll be able to keep the farm going.
That was a fantastic play there by Prime and Suno. Prime comes where it's unwarded, comes straight onto Jackie. Doesn't get the black shield in time, so he gets knocked up, and then he misses his dark binding. It looked like it went through, but he actually took a step forward. Prime was on the other side of Jackie when he let it go. And one thing here that's very important is that Jackie used his flash. Prime used his, Suno didn't. So when Suno gets 6, I'm pretty sure we're going to see an all-in from him onto Jackie. He's going to flash, he's going to close that distance, and Morgana can't get out of that if he misses the Dark Binding. And he has no way to negate the damage. His black shield's only going to work on magic damage, so it's not going to stop the physical damage coming out from Riven. So might see that very soon. Nijak, you're going to have to play it back.
Takes a look bottom, but he's just going to have to back it on out. And again, a nice gank attempt there on the mid lane. Or gank on the mid lane. Really worked out. Couldn't have gone any better there. If Jackie had gotten that shield down a little bit more quickly, might have been a different story altogether, as he would have had the room to walk. But as it is, going to put Quantic up 1,000 gold, and they're holding on to it. CS numbers around the field favoring Quantic all across the board. LOD keeping pace, and LOD, I got to say, man, he's a tenacious farmer all throughout the game. We've consistently seen LOD keeping pace, even with big lane clears like Siobhan and Renekton into the late part of the games. And in this case, keeping pace with Loco Doko has been very aggressive. Heaven Time going to have to check out after wasting a little bit of time. Bottom side, Blue Bush. He's out of there. 8 CS lead in mid lane. As Suno been doing a good job beating up Jackie. Going to be the fruits of that gank pickup right there. Otherwise, Jackie keeping pace. 22-15 in the jungle. The big story up top. That's 17 CS lead on Apple, who is just in great shape and really giving Hanser the business.
And he goes straight for boots, too. He goes for the penetration boots just to get that little bit of a magic resistance shred. And he's probably going to go for something like another Doran's Blade and maybe into a Haunting Guise, because a lot of Kennons pick up that double penetration, and then they also get Azonias on top of that. So, not sure we're going to see out from Apple, but that's the typical Kennon build, so just setting that up. Because you get that early game aggression from double Dorans, you can sustain yourself, because Kennon doesn't have any innate sustain. And he's got himself warded here, too, so he's pretty safe just poking Hanser.
Yeah, and Hanser, not with a lot he can do if he tries to slice-o-dice-o right up into the big squirrel's territory. He's going to get shut down with a stun and then just have to take some harass as punishment for his hubris. Won't let that happen. Tri-Brush going to contain now 1 Aatrox. Prime waiting around, see if they can get anything. Lane pushed over a little too aggressively. Blue pings into the gank brush. They're wrong. It was a Tri-Brush. They're going to swing now up towards Dragon. Elise is in the area, though, so not going to have anything coming at. Elise being beckoned over to check it out, though. Hanser going to try and keep the chase on with Apple after catching the stun and taking a full round of squirrelicious shurikens to the face.
Here Quantic comes Suno bottom lane.
And Heaven Time in trouble. Prime and Suno working it on Spider Lady. Piltover Peacemaker comes through to soften the lane. Quantic just going to put on the vice here. See if they can start tightening it down. LolPro with nowhere to move here. Heaven Time in a lot of trouble with the Pexi sitting at 5. They could certainly make the move, but they're not going to. Morg going to swing down. They decide to wait in gank rush for that. They're going to try to collapse on the 2. See if they can do it. Going to get the crescendo out. Aatrox out over the wall. Prime will make it away. No. Going to get sent into the pass by Jackie. Ult's not going to land onto anybody. Prime thinking about turning it around as Tibbers comes out. The Ignite down Prime will escape with his life, if just. As a nice turnaround there for LolPro. Good coordination. They figure, hey, Suno and Prime probably in that bush. React accordingly. And send Quantic packing. Suno back up to mid lane. Jackie's going to have to head on home after this, though. Walk back out. Will allow the lead to extend in mid lane now. As Suno up to 77 CS versus the 60 on Jack. Now at 25 CS in top lane. As Apple just been going to town on Hanser, who just needs a friend.
And they're hanging out in this bush right here.
No stun for Pexi. Piltover Peacemaker's going to land. Gunza got the stun now. Too little too late. As Apexi pushed out, and he'll head home. As the minion line going to push over. Perfect timing for LolPro to get themselves out of dodge.
And so this action that we've been seeing down bottom, I don't think that Quantic wants to go for a dragon yet, because last game it didn't work out too well for them. Really evened up the score very early on for LolPro. I think Quantic wants to get some picks and some kills before they secure that dragon for themselves, especially on Heaven. If they could have gotten Heaven there, they would have rotated for the dragon, but Heaven used his repel up, came down on the golems. Fantastic there, because he didn't get knocked up by the Dark Flight, and if he did, it would have been death for him. And it's fantastic rotation there by Nijaki to counter the rotation of Suno. So
absolutely, and in this case, you're up 1,500 gold. Add a couple extra little ducats onto there. 10.5 minutes. You're going to really want a safe dragon because, like you said last time, that really swung bad for him. And you don't want to break bad, not at this point.
No. So Nijaki is going to clear out the rates, get that little extra CS that he can because he is behind Suno right now, and Suno's in great shape right now. He almost 100 at the 11-minute mark. He's very, very close. And Apple almost having double Haunter's CS.
Yeah, just really forcing him out. There's nothing you can do when the squirrel gets all jiggly like that. Gonna go on the chase here. Haunter got room. The bump gonna land. They slow him down, but it's not enough. Just missing him on the edge there. Loco Doco gonna put a couple of shots onto LOD, and Loco Doco gonna win that trade hands down. Got a big move here by LolPro in the direction of Dragon as Aatrox was up top. Quantic going to collapse on this as quick as they can, but they're a ways out on this Dragon. Big stun by Guns. They're going to buy him some time. Jackie turns it around, going to get the stun under nobody. Loco Doco trying to come in and gets himself into trouble. Cleanse. He's clear with a 90 caliber net, but Quantic going to successfully force LolPro out of this fight, at least for the time being. LolPro still got some fight left. Dragon's going to get picked up by Jackie. LOD low. Haunter gonna go in on Prime. Heaven Time goes down. Suno gonna pick one up. 2 grabs now for Quantic. 1 over to LolPro. Haunter with a long run to good though as Suno's on the way after him. And he catch it up. A few there. Apple coming in looking for his stun. Nice flash by Haunter. Gonna get him out of it. Charges there. Can't get the stun and it will be Haunter getting out clean with Jackie. Stealing that Dragon away last possible second. Gonna stop some hemorrhaging, but only for a second as mid-out are gonna come under attack. 4 strong by Quantic. 12-20 in, 3 kills to 1. A Dragon goes over to LolPro, and it will be Loco Doco picking up turret fragging rights as they go with turret up on the Quantic side and spread the lead to 2K now.
And Prime used his smite there, and Nijaki actually got it with the Tormented Soil underneath. So it's a very, very good steal, but more of a misplay by Prime than anything, using his smite a little too early and not calculating the damage on it.
Yeah, it came under fairly heavy attack there towards the end. At least out of it, lost his timing a bit. Paid for it by giving a nice one over the wall there. It what could have been, yeah, much a nice 3K gold lead there. Just going to be 2,000, much more manageable, especially there. Gonna keep spreading it out though. Quantic holding on to their lead, just a little mistiming there. But again, a good fight that just goes Quantic's way around the Dragon Pit. Just couldn't be more the polar opposite of last game.
Yeah, and something else is Apple is sitting on 2.7k gold. He's about to be sitting on 2.9k after he gets this turret. He has so much gold. He could pretty much go back and buy a full Zonia's at this point. He'd be a little bit off, but that would have been very, very good in that fight. Would have been even more damage on his slicing maelstrom. He would have just completely obliterated that. So yeah, it could have been way worse for LolPro.
Going to fall away as LolPro too far clear. 121 to 101 CS in the mid lane with 102 sitting in the kill death assist column for Suno. Got himself a nice lead. Going to be very, very threatening. An assist onto Loco Doco. Going to give him a bit of a gold lead now over old Corky, especially with the turrets added in there. 2 turrets to none now as top outer is going to fall unceremoniously. Haunts are nowhere to be seen as Apple just a little too scary. And who would have thought that the only natural predator for a crocodile would be a squirrel?
It's that whole elephant and mouse thing.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't think, but you know,
that's how it is.
Well, I mean, humans and spiders.
Yeah, that's true. Except spiders don't necessarily predate humans.
Well, I'm talking about like the really, really scared of them.
Yeah, very, very scared. Yes, indeed. I'm not me though. I like to hang out with spiders. I feel like people that keep spiders as pets, I worry about them.
Yeah. No,
I'm like, you don't have the natural instinct to be scared of things that are poisonous. Same with snakes, you know.
Well, not everything's poisonous. It's like it's a phobia because it's a rational fear sometimes. Because some aren't. Like some people are afraid of daddy long legs, and those are just they can't even break your skin. But back to the game.
Doco gonna get shot down, loses about 2/5 of the health there, and backs it away just in time to ruin Heaven Time's lane game. A 3-strong look bottom, however, as Aatrox nowhere to be seen. They're going to try to collapse towards the clock, but nothing to do there. LolPro want to answer back and pick up a turret of their own. Looks like they'll be able to. Quantic playing it well away. Jackie looking for a blue buff. Really good at this game. No, it was Prime who stole away the last.
Yeah, they swap sides, so it's the same position, different players.
Prime on the way down. LolPro on the run. Gunza got his stun ready. They'll be able to close the gap here. Bottom outer still standing. Suno coming in. Bumps the land onto a Pexi. Gets on the run. Suno going to pop the second charge of the ult. Take care of business. Pick up a 4th kill of the game for Quantic, and that will give them plenty of time to run around. Still a minute 50 left before Dragon comes back up. 22K on the board right now for Quantic. They're 3,000 gold and a couple extra out in front of LolPro. We're down 2 turrets, which means they need to get some work done in the primary objective department before Quantic really starts grouping up and forcing them around the map.
Yeah, and the next Dragon that comes up in a minute, if Apple and Nijaki both back right now, they'll be able to buy their Zonia's Hourglass, so that's way more pressure on those objectives. But Apple doesn't seem interested in those. He seems interested in split pushing and getting a CS advantage until there's a team fight, and he's going to start fighting Nijaki.
Actually just going to explode, and down he goes. It's going to be... What is that? Oh, Buff moving over.
Yeah.
The animation, I was like, Blade of the Room? No.
It's a buff, some fantastic gold. Wow. Oh, they just annihilated him there with the slicing.
Yeah, that was...
Not expecting that.
All in one run there, and managed to get him at the far end. Burn off the Ignite.
Now, every time that Quantic plays, Apple is extremely consistent and a very, very good top laner. Gunza is also a very good support player. That's really what I've seen, is that these two sides of the map are really dominated by those two players. Apple is going to consistently push and consistently do well in the farm category, regardless of champion. I mean, Gunza is always going to help Loco Doco out and have very good warding. And, you know, Suno's kind of been hit or miss lately, and he's going in.
Top hitter going to fall as Apexi comes under attack. Suno going to pick up his 3rd of the game. 302 now. Going to continue to chase as he's got help to do it. LOD going to fall. You want to call him LolPro every single time. Heaven Time makes it into the sky and will live. Quantic take a few too many shots off the turret. Going to have to back it off and not chase Spider Lady down. They're wanting for a lane. It's going to be a little slow to come over, but they will get it. Bottom out are now going to be in trouble, and Dragon primed for a grab. As long as Quantic are in good enough shape to take care of it with LOD back up in 10, they could have time. Aatrox in the area. Looks like Quantic will have time. Right now, the lead 6,000 gold and counting as Dragon started up by Prime. Suno, Loco Doco, and Gunzan to make sure that the beast falls. 7 kills to 1, 4 turrets this time. And LolPro just looking anemic here as they just staggering around the field, looking pale, trying to find a way to get some color into the skin, but Quantic not going to let it happen, at least not yet.
Yeah, and they were able to pick up that Dragon because they pushed Heaven Time off that turret. They knew he was low and had to back, so it's at least 8 seconds of back time, plus the 20-some-odd seconds it's going to take him to even get to the Dragon area. It's more than that. But so they knew it was free. They knew they were able to pick that one up. Now they all back with a lot of gold, and Caitlyn, Loco Doco, picking up the Avarice Blade. He's going to sit on that for a bit before he gets the Static Shiv. Oh, Apple catches a Pexi.
No! Oh, Pexi gonna live! No! Down he goes.
Just toyed with him there.
Apple's 3rd of the game. LOD gonna come in and try one on with Apple, who he knows is low on spells, but not gonna matter, as that's just a straight-up fight. Oh. By the will of Apple does LOD walk away with his life. Jackie threatening, and it was enough to call the squirrel away. Jackie now gonna get chased off by Prime. He's got his oracles burning and gets rid of a pink ward.
There was a lot of CS underneath the turret, so Apple's like, you know what, I'm going to get this. It's guaranteed gold instead of going for this kill on LOD. So there's a conscious decision there to let him live.
Worked out for him. Suno going to clear away the bottom. Hans are probably happy just to be facing off against a melee champ that doesn't have 6 kinds of stun coming out. But
yeah.
Won't be winning that fight. Down comes Prime on his Aatrox, and there is really nowhere for the Croc to go. He's going to have to stand this fight. Slice and dice is there. Eats the whole down. Pops the ult, and he'll be able to walk away clean. Suno gives him a little parting gift just to say, you wanted some health back? You're not going to get that much. Hanser pops the ult, gets nothing for it, even with the LolPro reinforcements rolling bottom. He'll recall with shame in his pants and sadness in his brain. 31,000 gold to 23,000 now. An 8K gold lead for Quantic, who started the ball rolling here early and just kept it going all day long.
Well, he might have shame in his pants, but he still has a flash in his pocket because he didn't use it there to escape. He was holding on to that, says, I'll blow my Dominus, get a little bit of extra HP to help myself live. Granted, he didn't need it, but it encouraged Quantic to stop engaging onto him. And they're really split here in the middle. They want to come in for a pincer maneuver here. Prime still has his passive.
Been really doing a good job of, I mean, Jackie hasn't been a huge part of these fights. We saw him attempt to pop in with the ult and the one, but by and large, LolPro has been keeping Jackie away from the fights, getting picks all around the map. Jackie trying to be a big part of one of the team fights earlier, locked on to 2, but just sent Prime into the passive and couldn't lock up the second. So Jackie is yet to be the force that we hope to see from him all the time. Got the Zonias done. We'll see if the team fight phase, if LolPro can force a nice solid team fight against Quantic, if Jackie can be enough of a force to really get some work done there. You can see Hanser, again, he's having trouble up against Apple, but he hasn't had a bad game. So if he can manage to make it through, obviously Apple just dropping tons of damage on everybody at this point, 301, 200 CS. If they can get Apple to burn some stuff sort of uselessly if it falls away, then I gotta say, it feels like LolPro might still have a chance at a good team fight here. Suno pretty scary himself, 303, 200 CS. But if everything happens to fall into the right place for LolPro, they can certainly turn one around. But again, it's a chance that's slipping away as time goes, and with no turrets on the field, they're going to more than just one.
And Suno's the richest person in the game now. He has the most gold, and Apple's only going to get stronger right now. The thing with the Kennen is his early game's good, and they're bullying Prime right now. I don't think anything's going to come of it. But Kennen's early game he's a bully in lane. And then his mid-game kind of has this strange hump where if he gets level 9 and gets the max W, he's a very big bully. But if the other person builds a lot of defensive stats, it's kind of hard for him to thrive. Then his late game is really dependent on how early and how ahead does Kennen get. Because if he gets that level 3 Slicing Maelstrom, because it increases how many people you can stun every rank. So when he gets that final rank and then you start team fighting, it's devastating. And it looks like he's going for Rabadon's death cap right now and has a Negatron cloak in his pocket. So that might be an Abyssal in the future for that extra penetration instead of the Haunting Guys that I had predicted. So still going for some penetration.
Allowing him to really help sort of sustain through Jackie's what will be, if he leads out, basically guaranteed damage there. And obviously you got Lee Sin as well. You want to sort of tempt that down as much as humanly possible. But yeah, Zonya's in there. Zonya's for Jackie as well. I'm just, you're hopeful that they'll be able to pull something out here, because otherwise Quantic just going to run away with game 2. Really sad about their pause. Game 1 as it could have been a 2-0 here for Quantic. They're down a game though, so LolPro going to be still alive and kicking. If they can't come back in this one, the lead
Apple's coming in.
Stretch out. Baron try here. Jackie's going to get into trouble, and oh my God, the Kin and Aatrox combo just puts the hurt all over. Suno with a big heads-up play to pick up Corky, trying to sneak out the back. Down goes Heaven Time. Haunter running to go pick himself up a timeshare in Florida so he doesn't have to experience anything like this ever again.
That was fantastic.
And him turret under attack here. Haunter gonna just stand at the front, impotently do what he can. The rest of Quantic collapse here. Haunter big enough to walk away, showing that he could be a force to be reckoned with if he were in the middle of the fight. LolPro gonna have no such luck. At first inhib down. A swing to mid is the call. And they're going to be waiting a good while on those minions. Everybody from LolPro back up. But man, kind of open and shut on that Baron fight. Baron was getting worked down fairly quickly as well. 12 kills to 1. And I gotta say, Quantic, as close as anybody we've seen to a total shutdown here. They managed to allow 1 kill onto the board, and that's it. 6 turrets to none. Dragon back up. Bit of turret piece because Jackie stole one away early on, but it has been all Quantic since then.
Yeah, and I'm going to take it back a little bit to how that fight got set up. Prime has had an Oracle's Elixir on him for the majority of that. And what he ended up doing was clearing out that little area that LolPro decided to bottleneck themselves through. There was a pink ward over in that left golem side bush that Apexi actually just cleared with his own oracles, and Kennen was sitting right there. Apple was sitting on that pink ward, so he knew that LolPro couldn't see him. Then they started the Baron, they started baiting LolPro into that little bottleneck. Kennen starts coming around on the side. Apple goes straight into with a Slicing Maelstrom onto primary targets into the middle of the team. It's one of those awkward angles. When a Kennen comes at you with a Slicing Maelstrom, he's in the middle of your team, and he's Zonias, you can't get rid of him. It's guaranteed damage there. Corky has to go over the wall, gets hit with the Nace in the hole, and they just pick up a fantastic team fight there. I believe it was 4-0 in the favor of Quantic. And then, did they pick up Haunter afterwards?
No, Haunter
he
got to walk away at the turret side. He's better alive than dead, at least for the moment. And I got to say, the initiation on Quantic here, not only that, but the position, been absolutely brilliant. They've been making sure to come in from off angles so that Apple doesn't have to walk into what could be a substantial CC problem there. I mean, walk into a Heaven Time stun, walk into a Slice and Dice stun crescendo, Ward binding, and that would be shutting Apple down, which would give LolPro a chance to answer back. In this case, they're making sure Apple's got a good way around, and they've just been dominating the positioning here over LolPro.
And Apple's not afraid of the CC. If you look at his boots,
Pops up and Crescendo's going to line up for a while, but Apexi by himself there with Heaven Time up in the sky, thinking about flowers and bunnies. Better go to his happy place one way or another. It's tilts over Peacemaker from Loco Doco going to finish him off. 14-1, the kill counter now. LOD doing his best to look brave. Go on the inside. It's a sad little boy crying alone in his room, clutching his teddy bear and wishing it could all be over. Quantic pick up another one. 2 for none there. Grab bottom inner turret and walk it away. And this is with no Baron buff. 13,000 gold lead at 26-19. 7 turrets to none. And just LolPro running out of prayers and running out of gods to pray to.
Yeah, and Apple's been doing a fantastic job on that cannon. That squirrel has some gigantic nuts. The way he's coming, he's just running straight in with his Eon, and he goes straight into the team, slicing Maelstrom, doesn't care. And like I was talking about his boots a second ago, he just got distortion on them, so he's going to have that reduced cooldown on his flash, so he can flash ulti and pretty much close this game out in Quantic's favor. They're going to pick up a Baron here for free. Nobody's around to contest it. And I was talking about his boots because if you look at the boots of Suno and Nijaki, they both have Merc treads, so they're worried about the CC. Apple isn't. Apple just says, I'm going to charge in, I'm going to flash in, I'm going to Zonias, nobody's going to CC me, I'm coming from awkward angles to the backline where there isn't any CC from LOD. So, that's his plan, and it's working out perfectly for him.
He's been doing a fantastic job. Yeah, like just in that last fight there, managed to find a nice flank angle to come around and punish LolPro for it. At least got them distracted, sent them into full retreat mode, and allowed the rest of the team to really come in a big way. So Apple, just an absolute terror. A great pick into Renekton. Because, again, it's one of those things we've been talking about. Renekton doesn't have a bad game. And you can see, Hauntzer's the only one able to weather the fight against Quantic here. As Apple's too big. Haunzer big as all get out himself. 225, 100. Literally in the best shape of anyone on the team right now with that extra kill. Corky trying to keep pace. But Haunzer able to weather the fight. Nobody else able to do it. And Apple being such a big problem. Just because he's able to get to the backside of those fights, and Hauntzer's big and scary, but he's the only one.
Yeah, he hasn't died yet, so he's got that big goose egg in his deaths, but he hasn't been able to do anything with it. He's tanky, and tankiness only goes so far into the late games. You need damage to back it up. I mean, whenever somebody plays a jungler and they get very fed, but they're like a Jarvan, it's really hard to carry the game like that. You need some damage, some high damage targets to get fed. It's not happening this game for LolPro. They only have 1 kill, and it's Haunzer. That's it.
Pushed out by LOD, at least temporarily. Loco Doco keeping the pressure on mid inhibitor turret. Right now, Baron buff spinning and a 14,300 gold lead for Quantic. Ooh, Suno thinking about going at LOD. Doesn't do it. Binding going to land there on Aatrox. Prime just going to tank out a couple of shots. Because, hey, why not? Tilts over Peacemaker. Not going to hit the Spider Lady. Repel going to be good. Heaven Time. Takes a follow-up shot, though. Down goes mid inhib turret. And LolPro retreating themselves into a loss at this point. They're going to have to make their stand, decide when and where it's going to be. Haunzer off to the wide side of the fight. Not going to be any help there. Looking for Suno. Blue pings onto Suno called here. Quantic going to get another flank, however, as Haunzer well out into the front. Prime going to be the one to start it up. They get a binding on the Apple. He'll Zonia's through. The Jackie's stunned and come back out the other side. Okay. Nobody down just yet. It's still retreating away from it. Jackie knocked up, and it's going to be Suno. No, Gunza that finishes the job. Suno on the far side picking up one on the Heaven Time, and Gunza grab it too. Picking up those last hits on the champs this time instead of minions. And Loco Doco going to do the cleanup job of a lifetime there. Picks up both the Nexus for its last kill, and hey, why not a Nexus as well? Down it goes. Quantic going to have a big comeback there for game 2. Finish things off.